Hi folks, Paul Sesnick here. I'm going to talk to you very briefly on this idea of enlightenment and the law of attraction. Two topics that seem foreign to each other and unrelated. But we're going to see what we can do with this. When people are interested in the law of attraction, it's because they want to have more in life. They want to experience more abundance, improved or different relationships, perhaps improved health. So many things people would like to experience more of. It's why we're here, by the way. It's why you would even choose to come into this life, is to experience more and to experience it on your own terms. And the law of attraction can really, and is, by the way, the thing that you need to work with to bring that about. But then there's this other side that we refer to as enlightenment. Enlightenment demands, requires that you let go of all attachment to everything in the world, all of those things that you want to see more of, experience more of. You have to let go of emotionally, this is important, emotionally, in order to experience enlightenment. So then how could these two seemingly opposing viewpoints even come together? Well, I've put together what I refer to as a fast track to enlightenment, where we do our best to unify these two concepts, the idea of enlightenment and the idea of experiencing more in the world, and see how we can really get good at doing both and why you really need to do this. This is important. This is important. I have gone through this entire lifetime where I have experienced a pull within myself towards enlightenment and letting go of everything, and then wanting to experience more in the world and working at that. As a result of that, I've owned 5 different businesses, been emotionally engaged in them, put my spiritual growth on hold to do that, and then took a hiatus in my life of 10 years where all I did was focus on the spiritual. And I made a decision that, Paul, if you're going to achieve enlightenment, get rid of all of your attachment to everything. What an interesting experience this life is, isn't it? What we put ourselves through. However, at this point in my life, I still really appreciate both. I truly value enlightenment so much. So much that I really have brought myself to a place business-wise where my focus is on the teaching. I just cannot ever again put it on hold for the sake of experiencing more of the world itself. And yet I enjoy nice things too, as everyone does. So what we're going to do in this on this introductory evening that I call a fast track into enlightenment, we're going to talk about how you can do this as best as possible to combine the two. But for now, I'm just going to give you one of the ideas to show you how important this is, that we pay attention to both enlightenment and the law of attraction. When people look at the law of attraction, it's because they want to experience more. When they look at enlightenment, it's because they want that. Now, there's an old saying, which is, seeing is believing. We've all heard that. Seeing is believing. What you see in the world, you believe because you're looking at it with your physical eyesight. You can believe it. You say, well, look at that. I believe it because there it is. It's right in front of me. But we don't place the same value on believing in those things that are unseen. And yet there's far more going on than unseen, in the unseen realms, than there is here in this illusionary physical world. So, this idea of seeing is believing does not work really well if you're trying to use the law of attraction. Because it's this seeing is believing attitude that keeps you attached to what you think you're seeing. If you see yourself not having enough while other people have more, if you see yourself in a relationship that's not very loving and it just doesn't seem to be improving, but other people have happy, loving relationships, if you see yourself as not very well, but you know you could be well, all of these things, this idea of seeing is believing, are not helping you. You know, if you looked at all, at the idea of the law of attraction, that it requires believing in what you really want to see change in your life, believing in what you'd like your life to be like, seeing it in your mind, imagining it, visualizing it, perhaps putting together a book of photographs of those things you'd like to experience. And perhaps you've all done that. I have. And perhaps it also includes thinking of relationships you'd like to be in that you're not in. I've done that also, and I'm sure most of you have. This idea then of using the law of attraction requires that you believe in your mind that you already have those things, that you're not in want of them, but you already have them. And therefore you believe you have them. You see yourself enjoying a relationship. Even though it's imaginary, you see yourself enjoying it. You see yourself living in the new home that you'd really like to have, or have that nice new car that you love to have. It's all at a mind level, but you believe it. You just don't doubt it for a second. To the extent you keep reminding yourself you still don't have it, you're pushing it off into the distance. You want to bring it right here, right now, by reminding yourself that you're enjoying it right now at a mind level. As you do that, the law of attraction must, absolutely must, bring everything to bear. People, circumstances, situations, money, whatever it takes, the universe will bring to you to bring your vision into physical expression. That's the way the entire universe works. It's fabulous, and it's very simple. This is where people get snagged and not quite able to hold that vision of what they really love to have, because they still look out into the world, and seeing is believing. So they still have these beliefs and limitation because they keep looking at those things and seeing them. They need to become detached from seeing as the world sees. This is where enlightenment comes in. The whole idea of enlightened thinking is to detach yourself from everything in the world. And as you detach yourself and you let go of all of the meanings, all of the beliefs of everything you have ever learned from anyone everywhere, enlightenment dawns on your mind all on its own. As the Course in Miracles says, the light is in you now. It just needs to be recognized. And it can't be recognized if you're looking outside of yourself at the world and judging everything. Enlightenment is a state of awareness in which you do not judge. Enlightenment is a state of being in which you are a grand allower of all that is, and that you don't take positions on things for or against. You're rather neutral on everything. Then enlightenment dawns on your mind without you thinking about it. You don't work at enlightenment, you allow enlightenment. The work is in letting go of attachment to everything in the world, all of the beliefs you have ever held, whether they're religious, cultural, family ties, whatever they are. You have to let them all go and become a grand observer of them without giving definition or meaning to any of it. And as you do that, you become enlightened more and more, to the point where not only do you feel at peace, you feel all empowered. You get this sense that you could be anything, do anything, have anything, experience anything you want, because you have nothing interfering with it. You have cleaned the table of everything. And you're starting with a clean slate, so to speak. That's why enlightened thinking then helps you to manifest what you really want in life. But you will manifest it differently. You won't manifest it out of fear and not having. You will manifest it out of joy and fun. Just fun. You will be more excited about how the law of attraction works than what you're experiencing as a result of getting those things. You know, we all know that when people achieve wealth, that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be happy. They may be just as miserable as they were before. So it has nothing to do with that. The joy, the fun, the absolute relishing of this experience of life comes when you manifest in life without being overly concerned about the outcome. You are just so enthralled with how life creates before your very eyes based on what you hold dear within your heart emotionally. That you become much more excited about the process of having than the actual having itself. You know that at any time you want a new house. You want a new whatever you want in your life. You can bring it about. You begin to trust that inner relationship you have with your higher self, with the universe, with the mind of God. Remember, there only is one mind anywhere or ever. I call it the mind of God. Other people call it universal mind. Whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. It still works the same way. We all contribute to that mind. We all draw from that mind. And if we open ourselves up to ideas to dawn on our minds, all on their own, seemingly out of nowhere, that happens only when we are not preoccupied with the world and what we think everything means in the world. We couldn't possibly know, because it's made up of the ego, and the ego is not your friend. I'm getting a little off track here. Come out on one of these evenings that I call a fast track to enlightenment. It's an introductory evening. There's no cost. And learn more about how you can work with the law of attraction and with enlightenment, because you're doing both of them. You desire both of those, whether you're thinking about it consciously or not. You may think you're really focusing on wanting more, but there's that other side of you is calling you to that higher part of yourself that will always be calling to you, to be your true authentic self. And to understand both means you have all of the options and all of the opportunities to be and do and have and experience whatever you wish to experience in this illusionary world we call life. I could go on, but we'll do that another time. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.